Do you ever find that you have trouble getting rubbish in the bin because the bin's too far away? Or if you can be bothered to get up, the lid's in the wrong position. It's a real problem affecting millions of people. We're ready to believe you. So today I'm going to show you how I made BinBot 9000, the robot bin home assistant device that comes to you when you call, complete with a lid that's open or shut, when it should be. I started with a bin. It's a pedal bin where you've got a pedal you push which opens the lid. But sometimes the lid gets jammed and it doesn't go back till you bash it, so we need to do something about that. And we need to put the whole thing on wheels so it can drive around, so I've got a bit of a frame to build and I'm going to do that mostly with 3D printed parts. Just a quick ad from my 3D printing sponsor. Thanks to LolsBot for supporting my channel with 3D printers. And thanks to 3D Fuel for the filament for this project and lots of other projects, so check out my channel for more 3D printing projects and check out 3dfuel.com. I'm using structural aluminium here, which is 2020 with a T-slot, so that I can screw on some 3D printed brackets which have got T-nuts on, so those drop in and turn to do everything up tight. And I've also got some metal corners to hold them square. Here's my frame, and the bin's going to sit on top like that, but we still need to attach it and put some wheels on. So I'm going to have a single caster wheel at the back so it can run in any direction, and two wheels on the side with these worm gear gearboxes, which are pretty powerful. So that means that I can have a two-wheel differential drive, and with that caster fitted, we can move the robot in any direction pretty much. I've got the wheels fitted, which fit onto the 12mm shaft on that motor, and there's a grub screw and a bolt to hold them on. And of course they're going to have a flexible TPU tyre so that they grip the ground nicely. So two grippy drive wheels and one caster wheel, and the bin's fitted on with more T-slot bolts through the bottom. And that means I can pick the whole thing up by the frame and move it around, which is quite convenient. We need to make a new lid opener mechanism, and I don't like the original one, so I've made this 3D printed part that's going to go on the top and allow us to pull the lid open with a big servo on the back of the frame. I'm just using a string to pull it, which means there's no load on the servo when the lid's shut, and the servo moves 180 degrees for the whole range of motion. So we need some electronics to control the wheels and control the servo, so I've got an Arduino Mega with a breakout and 4 switches so I can test the functions. And that lives on the back of the frame along with a pocket to put some batteries in. I've also got two motor drivers, which are the IBT2 or BTS7960, which are rated at 28 volts, and these are 24 volt motors. And the motors have wheel encoders, which I'm going to use so I can work out how far I've driven. So we can read those with interrupts, and I got the code from the Arduino Playground website, so we can see the numbers updating as the wheel turns. And that means I can drive a set distance, and then program it to do something else. So all we're doing here is driving forward until we've exceeded a number of encoder counts, then turning until we've exceeded a number of encoder counts, driving forward again until we've exceeded a number of encoder counts, then opening the lid, shutting it again, and that's all it does. The problem with this is though that it's just dead reckoning, which means we're just using those wheel encoders to drive, but if there's any wheel slip then eventually we'll lose our position, which means it's not repeatable to do the same thing over and over again and find its way back home. So we need another solution. I built some robots in the past which use LiDARs, which is a scanning laser rangefinder, so it spins around projecting a laser line and can work out where the distance is to all the objects. So combining the wheel odometry, which is the encoder positions, it could drive round, compare the two, and basically draw a map of the environment and then use that map to navigate. So it could also, as well as just navigating from A to B, update the map as it went, so if objects got put in the way, it could mark them on the map, and when they got removed, it could clear them on the map. And it could do range finding, and it could do path planning, and do all of those things that it needed to do to navigate around complex environments. Now this was using ROS, which is the robot operating system, but I found that was quite complicated to configure. There's a couple of videos of building this robot in my channel which goes into those details. It is open source, but the documentation is very widespread over multiple versions, and it's really hard to find out what configuration you need to use. So for this project, I'm going to do something a lot more simple. I am going to be using an NVIDIA Jetson Nano though, which is a proper computer running Linux with USB ports, Ethernet and HDMI and everything else you'd expect. Now NVIDIA provides some really good tools for retraining a deep learning model which can do vision recognition. So basically there's a little GUI and then you can highlight the object that you want to recognise and categorise it, and then you can keep doing that for multiple objects, and basically you can retrain one of the off-the-shelf vision recognition deep learning models, and this is called transfer learning. So it already knows how to recognise objects, but you can insert some new objects essentially into its database using lots and lots of images, and then at the end it will recognise them fairly reliably. Obviously it's down to the data you've got, but it's pretty easy to train using the scripts that are provided and the tools which you can find on the NVIDIA GitHub. So I've mounted the Jetson Nano onto my robot bin, and I've got a USB hub there so I can plug some extra stuff in, and a little USB Wi-Fi adapter because the Nano doesn't have Wi-Fi on. We've got a Raspberry Pi camera on the front of the bin there so it can see where it's going, another 12 volt LiPo which is dedicated for powering the Jetson Nano, and I'm using a 12 to 5 volt regulator because we need 5 volts for the Jetson. Plugged into my USB hub is a USB to TTL converter which gives me serial data that I can take back down to the Mega, and I've used the Mega because it's got lots of serial ports. In this case I've trained for one target which I'm going to use in this project, and you can see that I'm sending serial data out of the Jetson Nano and into the Arduino, and the console on the right there is the Arduino serial console using debug to send me that data. So as I move around we can see those coordinates changing, which is how left and right and up and down I am and the width of it. It's better if I use the serial plotter though, so we can draw pretty lines, so you can see the red line changing as I move left and right, so that's that value, and if I move up and down then we can also see one of the other lines changing, the green line. So that seems to be working pretty well. And as I get closer, the blue line moves up and down as the width of the detection gets wider or narrower. So I can draw some pretty lines there if I just wave the thing around, and that seems to be working pretty well. Are you looking for a job in robotics? If you are, then you should listen to the ad from the video's sponsor, which is PipeDream. PipeDream is building the city infrastructure needed to make super-fast delivery near free and emissionless, leveraging autonomous robots running through pipes underground. These autonomous robots run on small underground tracks, so they're essentially building a tiny train system under a city. There's lots of information on the PipeDream website about the concept, including the robots themselves and the portal where the robots will be loaded and unloaded. Everything is based around 12-inch pipes, which is the same as current utilities. PipeDream needs the best makers in the world and is looking to hire 2 or 3 more mechanical engineers. Even if you don't have a mechanical engineering degree, they're really looking for the best tinkerers, roboticists, inventors and makers of the world. To apply, go to pipedreamlabs.co/applywithjames and describe a project you've built recently. No resume is required. Right, let's see if we can get vision-assisted driving working on this bin. So I've stuck my target onto a tripod so I can move it around and do some experiments. So the first one is we're just going to put the target some distance away, and then we're going to set off the robot, and using that serial data we're going to turn until the target is in the middle, drive towards it until it's a certain width, and then pop the lid. And you can see the monitor in the background there is actually what the robot's seeing. That's plugged in with a long HDMI lead into that Jetson Nano. So we'll just repeat that. And that seems to be working pretty reliably, even though there's other items in the background which are round, like those round lights and various other things. That target's fairly distinctive though, because it's a circle in a circle and it's got a big white border, so hopefully that's pretty reliable. We can now think about putting the bin to use in the kitchen, so I'm going to have 2 targets, one on the stand and one on the opposite side on the cabinets. So I've now programmed the robot so it will drive forward until it sees the first target at a certain width, then turn left. Now it's just using dead reckoning using the wheel encoders to drive a set distance, open the lid, and when I press the home button it shuts the lid, and it still uses dead reckoning to turn around 180 degrees and drive forward till it thinks it's roughly in the middle of those 2 targets. It then turns until the home target is in the middle of its field of view and drives forward until that target is a certain width in its field of view, and then it turns around 90 degrees but then slows down until it sees the target on the opposite side until that's in the middle of the field of view, and then it knows it's at home. So that seems to work okay. It can also do the same thing and drive to the table by again driving forward until that target is a certain width, turning roughly 90 degrees and driving forward a set distance. Again, this is using wheel encoders, so it's just dead reckoning. Pops the lid, I can throw my rubbish in, and then I can press the home button, which of course makes it spin around 180 degrees to head back to where it came from and drive forward a set distance with the wheel encoders again until it's roughly in the middle of those targets. And again, it's going to turn till it sees the home target and home itself. And now, because basically it's using those two targets to always get home, it means it's quite repeatable. So even if there's wheel slip when it's using dead reckoning, as long as there isn't so much wheel slip and it doesn't get stuck on an object, so it completely loses its position, it can pretty much find those two targets and home itself. So this is what the robot sees, driving forward until that target's a certain width, and it's not even trying to home in on that target, it's just driving forward with default motor speeds, which means it doesn't even go in a straight line, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, the lid blocks the camera, but there we go. So turning back round, we're using dead reckoning here, so it's ignoring that target, driving forward a set distance, and then turning right until we see the home target. That's roughly aligned with the middle of the camera, and it drives forward till it's a certain width. Again, not even homing in on that target, just driving forward, just using default motor speeds. But as long as it spins round until it sees the second target in its middle of its field of view, then it knows it's roughly in the right position. And the Arduino code for this is basically a state machine with a flag that gets incremented each time that we progress from one stage to the next, and that's basically checking different conditions, either the variables coming from the Jetson Nano to see how wide the image is, some time expiring where there's a little delay, or the encoder position being at a certain value. The whole point in using vision recognition as well as the encoders is to make sure this is repeatable. So I thought I'd run this several times and see that it does actually home and it doesn't creep and it doesn't get lost. So this is 5 times speed, but it seems to be working pretty well. And you can see it pretty much always aligns itself with that track of tiles in the middle of the kitchen where that target is. But it's not much good if I have to keep getting up to press the button to make the bin come, so we need some way of activating it remotely. Faster. Left. Left. More. Do you remember when I made that voice-controlled car? Well, that video was sponsored by Deepgram. This video isn't sponsored by Deepgram, but I'm still going to be using Deepgram for the speech recognition. And Deepgram is a service that runs in the cloud, which is trained using deep learning, so it's basically AI speech recognition. And it's pretty reliable. And I've still got some free credit in my free Deepgram account you get when you sign up. That is a separate script running on the Jetson Nano, but scripts can't share serial ports, so I have another USB to TTL adapter plugged into my USB hub. The other end of those wires of course go to another serial port on the Arduino Mega, and I've also got a microphone, which is one of these omnidirectional mics, which is a USB audio device. Location 1. Go home. Location 2. Go home. Location 1. This project is ultimately a test for navigating just with wheel encoders and a little bit of vision recognition to help us on the way. It's much simpler than configuring the navigation stack and everything for ROS. What I'd like to build next is the ultimate robot that can navigate through multiple rooms in the house and bring you a cold drink from the fridge. Perhaps we can use some image targets. I've also thought about putting those up on the ceiling, or two of them on the ceiling, so it can align itself so we don't have to pin these everywhere, or actually using the machine learning to try and identify different aspects of the house. I'm not sure how tricky that will be. So watch this space if you want to see an update. I'm going to publish all the CAD and code for this as it is though, and all of that's on my GitHub and the links in the description to this video. So if you'd like to support me through Patreon or YouTube channel membership, then those links are in the description to this video as well. And patrons and YouTube channel members can get access to all the videos up to a week early, including sneak peeks and pictures of what's coming up. Alright, that's all for now.